The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
The BLM is at it again. This time they're not trying to take a rancher's grazing rights, pretending that they're protecting an endangered species. Now they're going after the mining rights of one of the oldest continuing claims in the U.S. So old that it's protected under the General Mining Act of 1872. And they're not even giving the lawyers for the miners a reason, let alone a day in court. The Galice Mining District in Oregon reports that one of the mine owners has been given a cease and desist order with a deadline of Saturday, April the 25th. They must remove all equipment and buildings and fill in the tunnels by then, which is impossible. The owners of the Sugar Pine mine have stated that they will fully disobey the order they say is illegal and invalid, and they have called for assistance. Local chapters of Oath Keepers and 3%ers have responded, and others are on the way. For more information and updates as the situation develops, stay tuned to the Alex Jones Radio Show and the Nightly News, or go to Infowars.com and our YouTube channel, the Alex Jones Channel.
Hi, I'm Alex Jones. When I got on air 20 years ago, I weighed 180 pounds. I lift weights 5 days a week. I could swim 2-3 miles. Then I discovered the New World Order, the globalists, their agenda. I started an Access television show. I was so dedicated to my work and hanging around with radio guys that I began drinking. I began smoking cigars and then even cigarettes. I transformed from looking like a white Bruce Lee to looking like a Jabba the Hutt. So I began a journey 5 years ago to shed the almost 100 pounds. I started taking Super Male Vitality and saw dramatic results in just a few weeks. When I added to the mix the key products developed by Dr. Group for InfoWarsLife.com, the results were incredible. Take the InfoWarsLife.com challenge today at InfoWarsLife.com or give our crew a call. They can answer all your questions or tell you about any of the specials at 888-253-3139. For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com. No survival chest is complete without Silver Bullet. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. Silver Bullet.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation, it's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Monday through Friday, we're here. No compromise, hardcore, in the face of the globalist. I'm your host, Alex Jones, dedicated to telling the truth, dedicated to researching history, dedicated to taking on the globalist. And I have assembled an amazing team of men and women who are dedicated to liberty and telling the truth as well. We are about to go to Joe Biggs and Josh Owens right there on the Texas border. I know they're planning to go into Mexico. They may be in Mexico, it looks like it, from the Skype feed. If you're a radio listener, you can go to Infowars.com/show to find the free video feed right now so you can actually see our guys there on the ground. Here's the headline, Infowars.com. Economic collapse blog story. ISIS has camps on the U.S. border, but Obama says right-wing extremists are the greatest terror threat. ISIS camps have now been discovered directly across the U.S. border with Mexico, and we've now confirmed that these training drills, like the one in California last weekend, are to take on sovereign citizens, veterans, and gun owners. As we predicted, now from Florida to California, the videos are coming in, and they are targeting to round up patriots. Gee, wonder why InfoWars was banned from the exercise. Judicial Watch, highly respected, has got the intel, the documents, congressmen have gone public as well. We know thousands a month, other than Mexicans, many of them Middle Eastern, come across the border. Joe Biggs, who was stationed at Fort Bliss before he got out of the Army as a staff sergeant, wanted to go down there last year, saying they say ISIS is over the border from South Texas with the early reports that have now been confirmed. I want to go down there and show where I think they'd come across, right by the city park on the edge of El Paso, where it's a half-foot deep water. Turns out Judicial Watch, with the Mexican authorities and others, have come out and said that exact 1 mile stretch is indeed where they're coming through. And a quarter mile from there, they leave these huge gates open at night, and we have that footage as well. So we're going to condense all this together into one special report tonight on the news. But Joe Biggs is there. They're working on getting an aircraft. At this point, I've said they're going in. I don't want to give too much about did they get one or when this is going to happen, but it's very soon. But Joe's going to give us a breakdown of what's happened so far via the magic of Skype there on the border. Joe Biggs and Josh Owens, you left yesterday at about 6, filed a report late last night. What have you learned since? Break it all down.
Well, right now, Alex, we are standing outside of Anapra. Anapra is the area that is listed in the Judicial Watch report, stating that there is a possible ISIS terror cell operating over there. That place is pretty much run by a lot of the drug cartels from Juarez. So we're standing on this mountain range just on the other side. If we walk across though here, we could be in Anapra. But yes, like you said earlier, we're trying to work on an aircraft right now, a small plane, to be able to hover over this area and fly around and try to get some footage and possibly spot this area and get that footage out to you guys.
I see the El Norte train. That's one of the actual trains the illegals jump on by the tens of thousands a day to come into the U.S. Don't see any on that one. But that is just an amazing image of you out there in the desert and the mountains with the train going through.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity out here. I mean, this is the one area, though, where the Border Patrol actually have to have their armored vehicles. They have to have the cages up over the windows because Anapra is a pretty bad area. I mean, Juarez is bad given, but this place right here, the actual border fence, which is not even that great, is right along the side of the city. So just splitting between, you know, the U.S. and Anapra is this little fence. So
I can see the fence. Looks like you're, what, about 600 yards from that?
Yeah, it ends, though, right over my left shoulder, and then there's nothing going up really that much up to the top of the hill.
How many yards away would you say from the end of that black fence we see right there?
You're about 800.
800 yards?
Yeah. This is about the best view that we could get up high enough so you could actually see the city.
Well, I want to talk to you off air during the next break to decide what we're going to do, but everything's looking good right now?
Yeah, everything is good thus far. I'm trying to work on a couple different plans. Like I said, we're going to try to take a trip out to the East Portillo Mountains tomorrow, which is about an hour and 20-minute drive. I'll possibly try to fly over that today as well, because they said that's where the ISIS spotters are posted up in that mountain ridge, trying to look over the Mexican border, and then when they give them the all clear, they signal them through.
Amazing. And again, Judicial Watch says the camp's there. Congress people say they're coming across. They've been caught coming across. Why do you think they'd want to whitewash this and cover this up and then have one of the biggest domestic exercises ever to take on patriots at the same time? What do you think's going on, Joe?
Well, I mean, even the local news around here is just saying, oh, you know, we contacted Border Patrol officials. They say that this article from Judicial Watch is basically bogus and there's no evidence to support these claims. You know, and this is what we've been hearing for the past year, Alex. I mean, we keep hearing that, you know, this isn't happening. The border's secure. It's not wide open. And then eventually somebody releases an article, shows pictures where they've captured 4, you know, Iraqi guys with, you know, that are ISIS sympathizers, and they're finding prayer rugs, and they're finding, you know, translation books from Arabic and Urdu to English and all this stuff out here, and prayer beads. So there's something definitely going on.
Well, it's the Border Patrol people that are actually leaking the information, and it's in their reports, thousands other than Mexican. That's what they call it in the reports. You can see Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Libya. But then it's not just that. There's also other jihadis from Western countries coming in, and this is where they're coming into the country. And it's just amazing that they're trying to cover this up because they don't want folks to know the border is wide open.
Yeah, because, you know, then that means then it shows that they're almighty Obama is not doing his job just like he promises he is, because most of the sheep think he's doing a great job right now. If they actually came out here to the border, that's what I tell people all the time. People always want to get mad and yell at me like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just crazy. Well, I've actually been out here numerous times. This is like my 5th trip to El Paso in the last year. Nothing's changed. Nothing is improved. The border's completely and totally wide open in many places. Maybe not the entire border everywhere, but all you need is a gap, and that word of mouth travels down south, and everyone knows where that gap is, and they exploit it, and they go through it. And there's nothing being done to stop it or patch it up.
Well, sure, and of course, still the Obamanoids support Obama, but the majority of Americans in all the polls aren't buying it. So that's why the media is trying to keep clamps on it. But Sha'Carri Jackson and our other reporters last year went down to McAllen, also in South Texas, because of our Border Patrol sources, and they were there saying they're ordered to let the illegals through, and they give them vouchers and ship them in. And that's now mainstream media. So they don't want this getting out, but it is getting out that it's happening.
But the funny thing is, though, is when I go out and I show the borders where they're open, you know, the Border Patrol will try and sometimes hassle you. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, what are you doing out this way? You can't get close to the border. I'll be like, why not? You're letting illegals through. Why can't I, as a citizen, walk on my own soil, which is all the way up to the fence? I can go wherever I want to. So they want to try to hassle people sometimes, which I think is just trying to help cover up the fact that the border's open.
Well, sure, that's their order. They get reprimanded or fired if they report on the illegals coming in. That's in the news. And they're even told, let them go when they commit crimes, because that's what the criminal, illegitimate government wants. Just because the Border Patrol, most of them follow their orders, doesn't mean that we're going to follow the globalist operations. And again, I don't want to just make the Border Patrol the enemy here. They're really upset about what's happening, but at the same time, they're just replacing them with these political officers that will engage in the treason. And I have been down at the border myself. We have footage of it down by Big Bend, and they have the Border Patrol spotting with their binoculars and radios college kids, but also adults, drinking beer on the Rio Grande and throwing footballs, and then they come up and give you tickets while the illegals come across right in front of them. So they're not allowed to do that.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I've seen that tons of times. I mean, quite frankly, almost every trip I've been on, I see Border Patrol agents posted up in their vehicles playing Angry Birds or something like that. Or almost one time we were flying, I think it was with Glenn Spencer, we were flying, a guy was laying up on the hood of the vehicle, just like posted up, just like trying to get some sun, not watching what was going on, not watching the fact that in that area of Arizona, there's really no border, and there's just barbed wire fence.
They're not allowed to do their job. They've been ordered. I mean, it was in the news 2 weeks ago, like Associated Press. I remember the headline, Border Patrol ordered to ignore large groups of illegals.
Yeah.
I mean, if they pull over a van full of 15 people and the driver's drunk, they're openly ordered to release them, but then go out and find citizens who are the enemy. I'm telling you, it's sick.
And then you don't even know who's in that large group who has these ISIS connections or intentions, who are trying to meet up with other sleeper cells in the country to do harm. You know, right here in El Paso, you've got Fort Bliss, which is the largest tank division in the world. I mean, there's 60, 70,000 troops here. That's a huge base.
That's Task Force 6, right?
Yes. You also have a huge power grid location that we did some reports from last time when Josh Owens and I were here. These are big targets. You have White Sands Missile Range, where there's a lot of military stuff that goes on there. There's a lot of stuff out here where a potential attack could happen. I mean, just over this on the other side of the mountain over here, you have the University of Texas, El Paso. This is a prime spot for something like that. That's why they need to spend money on fixing this border. That's exactly what they'll hit. They need the security. They need to beef up the security out here, and they're not doing it because all of this stuff right now is just, it's just sad that they're not doing anything about it.
Well, how are they going to get away with it when their Al-Qaeda boys, ISIS boys, attack a mall or attack that university or attack the military base? I mean, imagine 500 or 50, 10, whatever the number is going to be, Major Hassans attacking the base, and they won't even call it a terror attack when it happens. I mean, it's just incredible because they got to keep that border open to collapse us into the North American Union, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I totally agree. So hopefully we can get some information out here while we're out here today. We're still waiting on this confirmation from a pilot to get out here and get footage over Arapa and then get down to the East Portillo Mountains as well.
All right. Well, I know you guys can go in there as well. We're in the Judicial Watch documents. They're saying...
Oh, one other thing, too, though. The East Portillo Mountains, from what I've been looking into, is mostly overlooked by BLM. So if there's BLM